The billionaire visited his son's grave and found a little girl crying. He was stunned to learn she came every day. The truth about who she really was would change everything forever. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Before we dive into the story, drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Enjoy the story. The October wind cut through Riverside Cemetery like a blade. Marcus Sterling stood before the small granite headstone, his expensive suit doing nothing to shield him from the cold that had nothing to do with weather. The engraving was heartbreaking. Ethan James Sterling, beloved son, 2018-2023, 5 years old. His boy had only lived 5 years. Marcus knelt, placing a red toy race car beside the flowers. 2 years had passed since the accident, but the wound felt raw. Every Monday, without fail, he made this pilgrimage. The billion-dollar deals could wait. This was the only appointment he never missed. "I closed the Henderson deal, buddy," Marcus whispered, voice cracking. "You would have been so proud." That's when he heard it, soft sobbing, barely audible. 20 feet away, a small figure was crumpled on the ground. A little girl, 7 or 8, with long blonde hair. She wore a faded blue dress and worn sneakers. Her thin shoulders shook with each sob. What was a child doing here alone? The cemetery was empty, except for them. Marcus looked back at Ethan's grave, torn between his grief and this child's distress, but her crying pulled at something deep inside him. He walked toward her slowly. She clutched a worn stuffed rabbit to her chest. "Hey there," Marcus said gently. "Are you okay?" The girl's head snapped up. Marcus felt his breath catch. Her eyes were striking blue, rimmed red from crying, but there was something hauntingly familiar about her face that made his heart skip. "I'm sorry," she whispered, frightened. "I didn't mean to bother anyone." "You're not bothering me," Marcus said. "Where are your parents?" Fresh tears filled her eyes. "I don't have parents anymore, not really." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "Who are you here to visit?" The girl pointed, and Marcus felt the ground shift. She was pointing at Ethan's grave, his son's grave. "I come here every day," she said softly. "I come to talk to Ethan. He was my best friend." Marcus's mind reeled. Best friend? This girl was 7 now, which meant she would have been 5 when Ethan died. But Marcus had never seen her before, never heard Ethan mention any little girl. "How did you know my son?" Marcus managed to say. The girl's eyes widened. "You're Ethan's daddy?" "Yes. I'm Marcus Sterling, and I need you to tell me how you knew him." The girl bit her lip, clutching the rabbit tighter. Then she spoke, and her words changed everything. "My name is Lily, and there's something about Ethan that nobody ever told you. Something important, something that happened before the accident." Marcus's heart hammered. "What are you talking about?" Lily looked around nervously. "Ethan saved my life the day before he died, but that's not the only secret." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Mr. Sterling, there's something about me that Ethan knew, something he promised to tell you but never got the chance." "What secret?" Suddenly a voice called from across the cemetery. "Lily, Lily, where are you?" The girl's face went pale. "I have to go. I'm not supposed to talk to anyone. She'll be so angry." "Wait!" Marcus grabbed her arm gently. "You can't just leave. What secret? Who are you really?" Lily pulled away. "I'll come back tomorrow, same time. I'll tell you everything." She looked at him with desperate intensity. "But please don't tell anyone you saw me. It's dangerous." Then she was running, blonde hair streaming behind her, disappearing between the headstones. Marcus stood frozen, his mind spinning. As he turned back to Ethan's grave, something caught his eye. A photograph, half buried in the grass. He picked it up with trembling hands. It was Ethan, smiling that gap-toothed smile. But he wasn't alone. Standing next to him, hand in his, was Lily. Behind them was a woman Marcus had never seen before. He flipped the photo over. On the back, in childish handwriting, were 4 words. "Daddy, this is my sister." Marcus didn't sleep that night. He sat in his penthouse office overlooking downtown Chicago, the photographs spread before him on his mahogany desk. The desk lamp cast harsh shadows across Ethan's smiling face, across Lily's small hand in his. "Daddy, this is my sister. Sister!" The word echoed in his mind like a scream in an empty room. It was impossible. Ethan was his only child. His marriage to Victoria had been brief, passionate, and ultimately toxic. They'd divorced when Ethan was 2. Victoria had moved to California, remarried, and rarely visited. She died in a car accident 6 months after Ethan. There was no sister. There couldn't be. But that handwriting was unmistakably Ethan's. The crooked letters, the way he always made his D's too big. Marcus had boxes of his son's drawings in storage, each one a knife to the heart. He couldn't bear to look at, but couldn't throw away. He picked up his phone and dialed a number he hadn't called in months. "Do you have any idea what time it is?" The voice on the other end was groggy, irritated. "Robert, I need you to find someone." Marcus's voice was steady despite the tremor in his hands. Robert Chen was the best private investigator in Chicago, discreet and thorough. "Marcus, it's 3 in the morning. A little girl, 7 years old, blonde hair, blue eyes, first name Lily. She's been visiting Riverside Cemetery, daily." There was a pause. "This about Ethan?" "Yes." Marcus closed his eyes. "I think she knew him. I need to know everything, who she is, where she lives, who takes care of her, everything." "I'll start first thing in the morning." "Start now, Robert, please." Another pause. "Okay, I'll call you by noon." Marcus hung up and looked at the photo again. The woman in the background was blurry, but he could make out dark hair, a slim figure. She was turned partially away from the camera, as if she didn't want to be photographed. Who was she? And why had Ethan never mentioned any of this? The next morning dragged like a prison sentence. Marcus went through the motions at Sterling Technologies, attending meetings he barely heard, signing documents he didn't read. His assistant, Margaret, asked twice if he was feeling well. "I'm fine," he lied. At 1 o'clock, he left the office without explanation and drove straight to Riverside Cemetery. The autumn sun was bright but cold, painting everything in sharp relief. He parked and walked quickly to Ethan's grave. Lily was already there. She sat cross-legged on the grass, that worn rabbit in her lap, talking softly. Marcus couldn't hear the words, but her tone was gentle, conversational, as if she were chatting with an old friend. His chest tightened. This was how he talked to Ethan too. "Lily," he said softly, not wanting to startle her. She looked up, and relief flooded her face. "You came back. I was afraid you wouldn't." Marcus sat down beside her, ignoring the damp grass soaking through his suit pants. "I promised I would, and you promised to tell me the truth." Lily nodded, clutching the rabbit tighter. Up close, in daylight, Marcus could see how thin she was, almost fragile. Her dress was clean but faded from too many washings. Her sneakers had holes near the toes. "Who takes care of you, Lily?" he asked gently. "My aunt, sort of." She looked away. "She's not really my aunt. She's just someone who takes care of kids nobody wants." "Foster care." The realization hit Marcus like a punch. "And your parents? I told you, I don't have parents, not anymore." Her voice was matter-of-fact, but Marcus heard the pain underneath. "My mum died when I was 4. I don't remember her much. And my dad." She trailed off, her fingers twisting in the rabbit's worn fur. "What about your dad?" "He didn't want me." The words were simple, devastating. "When Mum died, he just left me at a hospital and never came back." Marcus felt rage kindle in his chest. What kind of monster abandoned a 4-year-old child? "I'm so sorry, Lily. That should never have happened to you." He paused, then asked the question burning in his mind. "Now tell me about Ethan." How did you know my son? Lily took a deep breath, as if steeling herself. It was 2 years ago. I was in a different foster home then, closer to the park on Riverside Avenue. Do you know it? Marcus nodded. He'd taken Ethan there countless times. Ethan was there a lot, Lily continued, her voice soft with memory. The first time I saw him, I was hiding, Lily said, her eyes distant with memory. There were these older boys, maybe 10 or 11. They were mean. They'd find me at the park, and... She swallowed hard. They liked to hurt things, small things, animals, kids smaller than them. Marcus felt his jaw clench. What did they do to you? They took my rabbit. She held up the worn, stuffed animal. This rabbit. My mom gave it to me before she died. It's the only thing I have of hers. They were going to throw it in the pond. Her voice wavered, and Marcus had to resist the urge to pull her into a hug. I was crying behind the big oak tree when Ethan found me. He was younger than them, smaller, but he didn't care. A smile ghosted across her face. He walked right up to those boys and demanded they give the rabbit back. Marcus could picture it perfectly. Ethan had inherited his stubbornness, his sense of justice. Even at 5, he'd been fearless when it came to protecting others. They laughed at him, Lily continued, pushed him down, but Ethan just got back up. He said his daddy was Marcus Sterling, and if they didn't give the rabbit back, his daddy would make sure they regretted it. Despite everything, Marcus felt a surge of pride mixed with heartbreak. They got scared then. Everyone knows Sterling Technologies. They threw the rabbit at Ethan and ran. Lily's eyes shimmered with tears. Ethan brought it back to me. He sat with me until I stopped crying. He told me his name and asked if I wanted to be friends. And you became friends, Marcus said softly. Best friends. Lily wiped her eyes. We met at the park every day after that, for 3 weeks. He told me about you, about his mom in California, about how he wanted to be just like you when he grew up. He showed me pictures of his room, his toys, his dog Charlie. Marcus's breath caught. Charlie, their golden retriever. The dog had died of grief 6 months after Ethan just stopped eating. The vet said animals could die of broken hearts. I told him about my mom, about the foster homes, about how I wished someone would adopt me and give me a real family. Lily's voice cracked. Ethan said he would ask you. He said you were the best daddy in the world, and you definitely want to adopt me. He said we could be brother and sister for real. The photograph. Daddy, this is my sister. Now it made horrible, beautiful sense. Ethan had wanted to save this little girl, to give her the family she deserved. Why didn't he tell me? Marcus asked, his voice thick with emotion. Why didn't he bring you home? He was going to. He promised. Lily's tears flowed freely now. On the last day I saw him, he took that picture. His nanny, Mrs. Roberts, took it for us. Ethan said he was going to show it to you that night at dinner. He said he had everything planned. He'd practiced what to say. Marcus felt like he was drowning. But he never got the chance. The next day I went to the park. He didn't come. I waited for hours. Lily's voice dropped to a whisper. Then Mrs. Roberts came to find me. She was crying so hard she could barely talk. She told me there'd been an accident. Ethan was gone. The accident. Marcus closed his eyes against the memory. Ethan had been with Victoria for one of her rare visits. She'd been driving too fast on the interstate, distracted, not paying attention. The semi-truck came out of nowhere. Victoria survived with minor injuries. Ethan died instantly. Mrs. Roberts gave me the photo, Lily continued. She said Ethan would want me to have it. Then she moved away. I got transferred to a different foster home across town. I never saw her again. But you kept visiting his grave, Marcus said, every single day for 2 years. Lily looked at Ethan's headstone with such love it made Marcus's heart ache. I tell him about my day, about the new foster home, about school, about everything. I tell him I'm still waiting for my real family. She turned to Marcus, her blue eyes piercing. I never told anyone about him, about our friendship. My aunt doesn't know I come here. Nobody knows. Why not? Lily's expression darkened. Because of her. Who? The woman in the photo. She's been watching me. Marcus felt ice water in his veins. What do you mean, watching you? Lily's hands trembled as she clutched the rabbit. About 6 months after Ethan died, I started seeing her. At first, I thought I was imagining it. She'd be across the street when I walked to school, in the park when I was playing, standing outside my foster home at night. Did you tell anyone? I tried. My foster parents thought I was making up stories for attention. Kids in the system do that sometimes, they said. Lily's voice was bitter beyond her years. But I wasn't making it up. She's real, and she's always watching. Marcus pulled out the photograph. Is this the woman? Lily glanced at it and nodded quickly, as if even looking at the image frightened her. That's her. I don't know her name. I don't know what she wants. But Mr. Sterling. She looked up at him with terrified eyes. I think she knew Ethan too. And I think she knows something about the accident. What makes you think that? Because 3 months ago, she finally approached me. I was here at the cemetery, just like today. She walked right up to me and said, "You're the girl Ethan wanted to save." Then she asked me if I knew the truth about what happened that day. Marcus's mind raced. What truth? What did she mean? I don't know. She scared me, so I ran. But since then, she's been closer, more aggressive. She leaves me notes. Notes? What kind of notes? Lily reached into her dress pocket and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. Her hands shook as she handed it to Marcus. He unfolded it carefully. The handwriting was elegant, feminine. The accident wasn't an accident. Ethan knew something dangerous. Ask Marcus about Victoria's secrets. Ask him why his son really died. Marcus felt the world tilt. This is insane. Victoria's secrets? The police investigated. It was a traffic accident. Victoria was distracted, speeding. There was no conspiracy. But what if there was? Lily whispered. What if Ethan died because of something else? No. Marcus stood up abruptly, the note crumpling in his fist. No, I was there. I saw the crash report. I buried my son. This woman, whoever she is playing mind games. But even as he said it, doubt crept in. Victoria had been acting strange in the weeks before the accident. She'd called him twice, asking about his business dealings, about certain clients. She'd been nervous, jumpy. He'd attributed it to her new marriage falling apart. What if it was something more? Mr. Sterling, please. Lily stood too, desperation in her voice. Ethan saved my life once, the day before he died. I never told you how. Marcus looked down at her. Then tell me now. We were at the park. Those boys came back, the mean ones. But this time they had a knife. They cornered me by the pond. They said they were going to hurt me bad, teach me a lesson. Lily's voice shook. Ethan saw what was happening. He ran to get help, but he slipped and fell into the pond. It was deeper than it looked. He couldn't swim well. Marcus's heart stopped. What happened? I jumped in to save him. I can swim. My mum taught me before she died. I pulled him out. Tears streamed down Lily's face. We were both soaking wet, coughing, scared. The boys ran away. Ethan looked at me and said, "You saved my life." That makes us family forever. Real family. Marcus felt tears on his own cheeks now. His son, his brave, beautiful son. The next day, he was going to tell you everything. About me, about those boys, about wanting to adopt me. Mrs. Roberts said he was so excited, but then he died, Marcus finished, his voice hollow. Lily nodded. And that woman, she knows something. I can feel it. She keeps saying Ethan's death is connected to you, to your business, to secrets Victoria had. Marcus looked at the note again. Victoria's secrets. What secrets? Their marriage had been turbulent, but straightforward. She'd married a venture capitalist after their divorce, a man named Derek Chen. They'd seemed happy, or at least content, unless there was something else, something he'd missed. "I need to make a phone call," Marcus said suddenly. He pulled out his phone and dialed Robert. "I was just about to call you," Robert answered. "I found information about your girl, Lily. Marcus, you need to hear this." "Talk to me," Marcus said, phone pressed to his ear, while Lily watched with anxious eyes. Lily Morrison, age 7, currently in foster care with a woman named Janet Hodges on the South Side. Mother, Sarah Morrison, died 4 years ago from complications of pneumonia. Father unknown, abandoned Lily at Chicago Memorial Hospital 3 days after the mother's death. Marcus looked at Lily. "Morrison." He turned away slightly, lowering his voice. "That matches what she told me. What else?" "Here's where it gets interesting. Sarah Morrison worked as a private secretary. Guess for whom?" "Robert, I'm not in the mood for games. Victoria Sterling, your ex-wife." The world stopped spinning. Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. "What did you say?" "Sarah Morrison was Victoria's personal assistant for 2 years before she died. She handled Victoria's private correspondence, scheduling, personal finances. They were close, according to people I interviewed. Very close." Marcus's mind reeled. Victoria had a personal assistant named Sarah. He vaguely remembered her, a quiet woman with dark hair who'd been around during the final year of their marriage. But he'd never known her last name, never paid attention. Victoria had so many employees. "Did Victoria know about Sarah's daughter?" Marcus asked. "That's where the trail gets murky. Sarah kept her daughter out of the public eye. But here's the bombshell, Marcus." Robert paused. 3 weeks before Sarah Morrison died, she sent a sealed envelope to a lawyer with instructions that it be opened only in the event of her death or if anything happened to Lily. The lawyer still has it. "What lawyer?" "Thomas Brennan, downtown on Michigan Avenue. I spoke to his secretary. Brennan's been waiting for someone to inquire about Lily Morrison for 4 years. He says the envelope contains information about Lily's father and evidence related to Victoria Sterling." Marcus's hands shook. "Set up a meeting. Today, now." "Already done, 3 o'clock. Marcus hung up and turned to Lily. She was watching him with those 2 old eyes, waiting. "Your mother worked for my ex-wife," Marcus said carefully. "Did you know that?" Lily's eyes widened. "What? No. My mum never talked about her work. She said it was private, confidential." "Did your mother ever mention Victoria? Ever talk about her employer?" "No. She just said she worked for a wealthy family, and that's why she was gone so much." Lily's brow furrowed. But wait, there was something. A few weeks before she got sick, she was really stressed. I remember her crying on the phone with someone, saying she couldn't keep the secret anymore, that it wasn't right. "What secret?" "I don't know. I was little, but she was scared." Lily's face went pale. "Mr. Sterling, do you think my mum's death wasn't an accident either?" "I don't know what I think anymore." Marcus knelt down to her level. "But I'm going to find out. Lily, I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" She nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I'm going to meet with a lawyer this afternoon. He has information about your mother, about you. Information your mother wanted protected." Marcus took her hands gently. "But I need you to promise me something. Don't go anywhere alone. Don't talk to that woman if she approaches you again, and don't come back to this cemetery without me. It's not safe. Will I see you again?" "Yes." Marcus surprised himself with the certainty in his voice. "I promise. Give me a way to contact you." Lily recited a phone number. "It's the house phone. My aunt doesn't like us having cell phones, says we'll just lose them." Marcus programmed it into his phone. Then on impulse, he pulled out his wallet and handed her 2 $20 bills. "For food, for anything you need." Lily stared at the money as if she'd never seen cash before. Maybe she hadn't, not like this. freely given. I can't take this. Yes, you can. Ethan would want me to take care of you. Marcus felt emotion clog his throat. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. As Lily left the cemetery, Marcus stood alone before his son's grave. I'm going to find the truth, buddy, he whispered. About Lily, about Victoria, about everything. I promise. The wind picked up, scattering leaves across the grass. For just a moment, Marcus could have sworn he heard his son's laughter carried on the breeze. The law offices of Brennan and Associates occupied the 32nd floor of a glass tower overlooking Lake Michigan. Marcus sat in a leather chair across from Thomas Brennan, a silver-haired man in his 60s with sharp eyes and careful hands. Mr. Sterling, I've been holding this envelope for 4 years, wondering if anyone would ever come for it. Brennan placed a sealed manila envelope on his desk. Sarah Morrison was a careful woman. She made me promise that if anything happened to her, this information had to reach the right person at the right time. And I'm the right person? According to her instructions, yes. She specified that if anyone ever inquired about Lily Morrison's connection to Ethan Sterling, I was to reveal this. Brennan paused. How did you know to look for this? I didn't. I met Lily by accident. Marcus stared at the envelope. What's inside? Medical records, DNA test results, and a letter addressed to you specifically. Marcus felt his pulse hammering. DNA results? For what? Brennan slid the envelope across the desk. I think you should read it yourself. With trembling hands, Marcus opened the envelope and pulled out its contents. On top was a letter handwritten on plain paper. Dear Marcus Sterling, if you're reading this, I'm likely dead, and Lily has somehow found her way to you or Ethan. I pray this happens because it means she's not alone. I worked for your ex-wife Victoria for 2 years. I thought she was a good person. I was wrong. What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but I have proof. 5 years ago, Victoria had an affair. She became pregnant. She couldn't tell you because you were already divorcing, and she knew you'd fight for custody if there was another child. She couldn't tell her new husband, Derek, because he'd already told her he never wanted children. So she hid the pregnancy. She went away for 6 months, told everyone she was traveling for work. She had the baby in a private clinic and gave her up. That baby was Lily. Marcus stopped reading. The words blurred before his eyes. He read the sentence again, then again. That baby was Lily. No, he whispered. That's not possible. But Brennan was pulling out documents, medical records from a private clinic in Springfield, a birth certificate with Victoria Sterling listed as mother, father unknown, DNA test results showing a genetic match to Victoria's medical records that Sarah had somehow obtained. And one more thing, a DNA analysis comparing Lily's genetic markers to those on record for Ethan Sterling, taken from a blood sample during a routine checkup. The results were clear. Lily and Ethan shared a mother. They were half-siblings. Real siblings. Marcus couldn't breathe. His vision tunneled. Everything Lily had told him, everything Ethan had said in that photograph, it was all true. Lily wasn't just some girl Ethan had befriended. She was his sister, his actual biological sister. There's more, Brennan said quietly, pulling out another document. Sarah's letter continues. She explains why she took Lily. Marcus forced himself to keep reading. Victoria paid me to adopt Lily privately, to make sure she went to a good home far away where no one would ever connect her to the Sterling name. I took the money because I was a single mother, barely scraping by. I promised to love Lily as my own, and I did. I loved her with everything I had. But 2 years ago, I discovered something terrible. Victoria wasn't just hiding a child. She was involved with people who were dangerous. People connected to organized crime through her husband Derek's business dealings. I don't have all the details, but I overheard phone calls, threats, talk of money laundering through sterling technologies without your knowledge. Victoria discovered I knew. She told me to stay quiet or something would happen to Lily. But I couldn't stay quiet, Marcus. Not when I learned that little Ethan had somehow befriended Lily at the park. He didn't know she was his sister, but fate had brought them together. Victoria found out about their friendship. She was furious. She told me she'd make sure they never saw each other again. 2 weeks later, Ethan died in that car accident. I don't believe in coincidences. I think Victoria killed her own son to protect her secrets. Marcus stopped breathing. The letter fell from his numb fingers. "Mr. Sterling?" Brennan's voice seemed to come from far away. "Are you all right?" But Marcus wasn't all right. Nothing would ever be all right again. Because if this letter was true, if any of it was true, then Victoria had murdered Ethan, his son, their son. And Lily, the little girl crying at the cemetery, was his daughter abandoned and lost for 7 years. And someone out there knew the truth. The woman watching Lily. She knew. Marcus stood up abruptly. "I need to go." "Mr. Sterling, wait. There's a procedure." But Marcus was already moving, his mind racing. He had to find Victoria's records, had to prove this insane story, had to protect Lily. Because if Victoria had killed once to protect her secrets, she wouldn't hesitate to kill again. And Lily was still in danger. Marcus burst into his penthouse at midnight, arms loaded with boxes from storage. 2 years of avoiding Ethan's belongings, and now he tore through them like a man possessed. School papers, drawings, photos. He needed to find any connection, any proof. His phone rang. "Robert." "I've been digging into Victoria's financials from before she died," Robert said without preamble. "Marcus, she withdrew $250,000 in cash 3 weeks before the accident. No record of where it went." Marcus's hands stilled over a crayon drawing of a stick-figure family. "Blackmail money? Or a payoff? I'm also finding connections between Derek Chen and a company called Meridian Holdings. It's a shell corporation, but if you dig deep enough, it ties to the Kozlov organization." Marcus felt ice in his veins. The Kozlovs, Chicago's most sophisticated criminal network, specializing in money laundering through legitimate businesses. Derek was laundering money through sterling technologies, possibly through your international accounts without your knowledge. Victoria would have had access to the codes, the systems. She could have set up backdoors. Marcus's mind raced. If Victoria had been helping Derek launder money, and Sarah discovered it, that was motive for murder. But would Victoria really kill her own son? "Robert, I need you to find someone. A woman, dark hair, 30s or 40s. She's been watching Lily Morrison, following her." "Any idea who she is?" "None, but she knows about the accident. She's been leaving Lily notes claiming it wasn't an accident." Marcus paused. "She might be our only witness." "I'll put out feelers." "Marcus." Robert's voice softened. "If Victoria really was involved in Ethan's death, this is dangerous territory. These people don't leave loose ends." "Lily's a loose end. So am I, now that I know the truth." After hanging up, Marcus looked at the DNA results again. Lily Morrison was Lily Sterling, his daughter, Ethan's sister. Hidden away like a shameful secret, and then her only protector, Sarah Morrison, had died under mysterious circumstances that were ruled natural causes. But Marcus didn't believe in natural causes anymore. His phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "She's not safe at that house. They know you found the lawyer. Come to 1847 Warehouse District, Pier 19, midnight tomorrow. Come alone. I'll tell you everything." The mysterious woman, finally reaching out. Marcus stared at the message. It was obviously a trap, but it was also his only lead. He typed back, "Who are you?" The response came immediately. Someone who loved Ethan too. Someone who failed to protect him. "I won't fail again." The Warehouse District at midnight was exactly as ominous as it sounded. Marcus parked his Mercedes in the shadows and checked his phone. Robert knew where he was, had explicit instructions to call the police if Marcus didn't check in within an hour. Pier 19 was abandoned, the warehouse a skeleton of rusted metal and broken windows. Marcus walked inside, his footsteps echoing on concrete. "Mr. Sterling." The voice came from the darkness above. A woman stepped into a shaft of moonlight from a broken skylight. She was in her early 40s, with dark hair pulled back severely. Her face was striking but haggard, with circles under her eyes that spoke of sleepless nights. She wore jeans and a dark jacket, and Marcus noticed the way she held herself, alert, ready to run. "Who are you?" Marcus demanded. "My name is Rachel Morrison. Sarah was my older sister." Marcus felt the pieces click into place. "Lily's aunt. And biological aunt, yes, though the state doesn't know that." Rachel descended the metal stairs slowly, keeping her distance. "Sarah made me promise to watch over Lily from the shadows, to never reveal our connection, to keep her safe." "Safe from whom?" "From the people who killed your son." Rachel's voice cracked. "From the people who killed my sister, Victoria. Victoria was just a pawn. Derek Chen was the real danger." Rachel pulled out a flash drive. Sarah kept backups of everything. Every phone call Victoria made from her private line, every email, every transaction, it's all here. Marcus stared at the small device. "Why didn't you go to the police?" "Because the Kozlovs have people everywhere, cops, judges, politicians." Sarah tried to go to the authorities quietly. A week later she was dead. Pneumonia, they said. But she was perfectly healthy until she started coughing up blood. "Poisoning," Marcus whispered. "Slow-acting, untraceable." By the time they got her to the hospital, her organs were failing. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "I watched my sister die, knowing exactly who killed her, but unable to prove it." "And Ethan?" Rachel's face hardened. "Sarah called me 2 days before the accident. She was terrified. She'd discovered that Ethan and Lily had been meeting at the park. She'd seen them together, realized Ethan was trying to get Marcus Sterling, you, to adopt her. It was Sarah's worst nightmare coming true." "Why?" "Because Victoria found out. Sarah had hidden Lily's identity for 5 years, but Ethan was about to blow everything wide open. If you adopted Lily, you'd eventually learn she was Victoria's biological daughter. DNA tests for medical records, family history, the truth would come out." Marcus felt sick. So Victoria killed Ethan to keep the secret buried. Derek killed Ethan. Victoria drove the car, but Derek sabotaged it. "We have proof. A mechanic who worked on the vehicle the day before paid $50,000 to cut the brake lines in a way that would fail at highway speeds. He's willing to testify now that Derek's dead." Marcus's head snapped up. "Derek's dead. Murdered 3 months ago. The Kozlovs don't tolerate loose ends, and Derek got sloppy. His death sparked a war between factions. That's why I'm reaching out now, because Victoria's next, and if Victoria dies, Lily becomes the last person who can tie the Kozlovs to Sterling Technologies. She doesn't know anything about the money laundering. They don't know that. All they know is she's Victoria's hidden daughter, and loose ends get eliminated." Rachel stepped closer. "Mr. Sterling, you need to get Lily somewhere safe. Tonight. And then you need to expose everything before they silence all of us." Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from Robert. "Get out now. I just picked up chatter. Kozlov associates en route to Pier 19. They know you're meeting someone." "We need to leave," Marcus said urgently. Rachel's eyes widened as she heard vehicles outside. "Go, take the flash drive." She threw it to Marcus. He caught it reflexively as the warehouse doors burst open, and 3 men in dark suits entered, guns drawn. "Run!" Rachel screamed, shoving Marcus toward a back exit. Gunshots exploded in the confined space, deafening. Marcus ran, his heart hammering, clutching the flash drive. Behind him, he heard Rachel's footsteps, heard her gasping breath. They burst through a side door into an alley. Marcus's Mercedes was too far away. He grabbed Rachel's arm and pulled her toward the maze of warehouses. More shots. A bullet whined off metal inches from Marcus's head. They ducked between buildings, Rachel leading now, knowing the area. "This way! There's a gap in the fence!" Marcus's lungs burned. He wasn't built for this. He was a billionaire who spent his days in boardrooms, not running for his life through industrial wastelands. They reached the fence. Rachel squeezed through a torn section. Marcus followed, feeling chain-link tear at his expensive suit. "My car is 2 blocks south," Rachel gasped. "Blue Toyota, rusted doors, go!" They ran through empty streets, footsteps echoing behind them. Marcus risked a glance back and saw 2 pursuers, still coming. Rachel's car appeared ahead, a beat-up sedan that looked like it barely ran. She fumbled with keys, got the door open. Marcus threw himself into the passenger seat as Rachel gunned the engine. The car lurched forward, tires squealing. Behind them, the pursuers jumped into a black SUV. "They're following us!" Marcus shouted. Rachel didn't answer, too focused on driving. She whipped through side streets, taking turns so sharp, Marcus braced against the door. But the SUV kept pace, larger and faster. "They're going to run us off the road," Marcus said. "Not if I get to the precinct first. Hold on." Rachel accelerated onto a main road, running a red light. Horns blared. The SUV followed, gaining. Marcus's phone rang. He answered without looking. "Robert, we're being chased." "I know. I've got cops en route to your location." "Keep driving north toward the 23rd Street station. 3 minutes out." Rachel swerved around a taxi. The SUV was right behind them now, its front bumper kissing their rear fender. "They're going to hit us!" Marcus braced for impact. The SUV surged forward. Metal crunched as it rammed them from behind. Rachel fought for control, the old car fishtailing wildly. Then Marcus saw them, red and blue lights, 3 police cruisers racing toward them from the opposite direction. The SUV must have seen them too, because it suddenly veered off, disappearing down a side street. Rachel pulled over, her hands shaking on the wheel. The police cruisers surrounded them, officers jumping out with weapons drawn. "Hands where we can see them!" Marcus raised his hands, still clutching the flash drive. "Call Detective Martinez at the precinct. Tell him Marcus Sterling has evidence in the Victoria Sterling case." An hour later, they sat in an interrogation room at the 23rd Street station. Detective Martinez, a stern woman in her 50s, examined the flash drive contents on a laptop. "This is extensive," she said finally. "Bank records, recorded conversations, testimony from your sister before she died. If this is authentic, it's enough to open a full investigation into Victoria Sterling, Derek Chen, and their connection to the Kozlov organization." "It's authentic," Rachel said quietly. "My sister died for that information." Martinez nodded. "We'll need both of you in protective custody while we process this. Mr. Sterling, you mentioned a 7-year-old girl who might be in danger. Lily Morrison, she's at a foster home on the south side." Marcus stood abruptly. "We need to get her now. If the Kozlovs know I have this information, they'll go after her next." Martinez was already on her radio, dispatching units to the foster home. They arrived at Janet Hodges' house 20 minutes later, 4 police cruisers and 2 unmarked cars. Marcus jumped out before they'd fully stopped. The front door was open, swinging in the wind. "No," Marcus breathed. They rushed inside. The house was in chaos, furniture overturned, lamps broken. In the living room, they found Janet Hodges, unconscious but breathing, with a head wound. But Lily was gone. Marcus felt his world collapse. "Find her! Find Lily!" Police swarmed the house. Detective Martinez knelt beside Janet, who was coming to with a groan. "Mrs. Hodges, can you hear me? What happened?" Janet's eyes fluttered open, unfocused. Men came in, asking for Lily. I tried to stop them." She winced, touching her head. "They took her, said she belonged to them now." Marcus wanted to scream. Lily, his daughter, the daughter he'd just discovered, stolen by the same people who'd killed his son. His phone rang. Unknown number. "Answer it," Martinez said, already signaling for a trace. Marcus put it on speaker. "Hello?" "Marcus Sterling." The voice was male, cultured, with a slight Eastern European accent. "You have something that belongs to us. We have something that belongs to you. If you hurt her, we have no interest in hurting children. But we do need assurance that the information your little friend Rachel gave you will disappear." "You killed my son," Marcus said, his voice shaking with rage. There was a pause. "Derek Chen killed your son, a decision made without our knowledge or approval. Had we known he would do something so reckless, so sloppy, we would have intervened. Killing children is bad for business. You poisoned Sarah Morrison. Again, Derek Chen's initiative. He was a liability. That's why we removed him." The voice took on a sharper edge. "But let's discuss the present, not the past. You have evidence that could damage our organization. We have the child, a simple trade." "No trade," Martinez mouthed, shaking her head. But Marcus wasn't listening. "Where and when?" "Tomorrow night. The old Sterling Technologies warehouse on the river, the one you abandoned 3 years ago. Midnight. Come alone with the flash drive. We'll bring the girl." "How do I know you'll let her go?" "You don't. But consider this. If we wanted the girl dead, she'd be dead already. We want the evidence destroyed and all of you silenced. Give us the drive, and we might be inclined to let you both disappear quietly. Refuse, and—" The voice trailed off meaningfully. The line went dead. Martinez immediately got on her radio. "We need tactical units preparing for a hostage situation. Sterling Technologies warehouse, tomorrow at midnight." But Marcus was thinking. Something the voice had said, something about Derek acting without approval. And another thought, crystallizing from all the chaos. "He's lying," Marcus said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. "The Kozlovs didn't order Ethan's death. They're telling the truth about that. Derek went rogue." Marcus's mind raced, pieces clicking together. "But they're lying about something else." Rachel leaned forward. "What?" "Victoria, they said Derek was removed because he was sloppy, but they're scared of something bigger." Marcus looked at Martinez. "I need to see Victoria's death certificate, now." Martinez frowned. "Victoria Sterling died 6 months after your son, in a car accident in California." "No." Marcus pulled out his phone, searching frantically through emails. "No, I received a death certificate, but I was in grief, I didn't question it. But what if Victoria didn't die?" He found what he was looking for, an email from 2 years ago, subject line, "Victoria Sterling, Estate Documents." He'd archived it without reading thoroughly. He opened the attached death certificate. It looked official. But then Marcus noticed something in the corner, a registration number that seemed off. "Robert," Marcus said into the phone, "I need you to verify a death certificate. Number KL284793B, issued in Los Angeles, California, July 15th, 2 years ago." 5 minutes of tense waiting. Then Robert's voice came back, tight with shock. "Marcus, that certificate number doesn't exist in the Los Angeles County records. It's a forgery." The room went silent. "Victoria Sterling is alive," Marcus said slowly. "She faked her own death, and the Kozlovs have been looking for her ever since." Rachel's face went pale. "If Victoria's alive and the Kozlovs have Lily, they'll use Lily as bait," Marcus finished. "Not to trade for the flash drive, to draw Victoria out of hiding." Detective Martinez grabbed her radio. "We need to move up the timeline. If they realize we know Victoria's alive—" Marcus's phone rang again. This time it was a text with a photo attachment. His blood turned to ice. The photo showed Lily tied to a chair in what looked like a concrete room. She was crying but looked unharmed. And standing behind her, one hand on Lily's shoulder, was a woman with dark hair, Victoria. The text below read, "Surprise, family reunion at midnight. Don't be late, Marcus. We have so much to discuss." Marcus stared at the photo, his mind reeling. Victoria was alive, and she had Lily. "This changes everything," Detective Martinez said, studying the image. "If Victoria's involved, this isn't just a hostage situation. This is personal." "She killed our son," Marcus said, his voice hollow, "and now she has our daughter." Rachel grabbed his arm. "Wait, if Victoria has Lily, then who are the Kozlovs meeting with? They clearly don't know Victoria's alive, or they wouldn't be trying to draw her out." Marcus's phone rang again. This time, Victoria's voice, a sound he'd hoped never to hear again. "Hello, Marcus. Miss me?" "Where is she?" Marcus demanded. "Where's Lily?" "Our daughter is fine. Scared, confused about why strange men grabbed her, but fine." Victoria's voice was cold, calculating. "And she'll stay fine as long as you do exactly what I tell you. I should have known you'd fake your death, should have known you'd run. I didn't have a choice. Derek went insane, killed Ethan to protect his precious money laundering operation. Do you know what that's like, Marcus? Knowing your husband murdered your son?" Her voice cracked slightly, the first hint of real emotion. "I couldn't stop him. I tried. God, I tried. You could have come to me, to the police, and tell them what? That I'd helped Derek steal from you for years? That I'd given up my baby daughter to protect myself? That I'd been complicit in the whole thing?" Victoria laughed bitterly. "I was a coward. I faked my death and ran. Let everyone think I died in that accident. It was easier than facing what I'd done." "But you've been watching Lily?" "From a distance, yes. Making sure she was safe. When Sarah died, I thought about taking her, raising her myself. But I couldn't risk it. The Kozlovs were still looking for me." Victoria paused. "Then you found her, started asking questions, and now you've forced my hand." Marcus's mind worked frantically. "The meeting tonight. The Kozlovs think they're meeting me. But you're planning something. I'm planning to end this. The flash drive you have contains evidence that implicates me along with Derek. I need it destroyed, and I need the Kozlovs to believe I'm dead permanently." "So you'll kill them?" "I'll do what I have to do, and you're going to help me." Victoria's voice hardened. "Tonight at midnight you'll go to that warehouse with the flash drive. The Kozlovs will be there, expecting a trade, but I'll be there too, with backup. We'll eliminate them, destroy the evidence, and Lily and I will disappear. You'll never see us again." "You're insane if you think I'll let you take Lily." "You don't have a choice. I'm her mother. I gave birth to her. And more importantly, I have her right now." Victoria's voice turned pleading. "Marcus, please. This is the only way to keep her safe. If the Kozlovs learn she's my daughter, they'll never stop hunting her. But if they're dead and the evidence is destroyed, she can finally have a normal life." "With you? A murderer?" "Derek was the murderer. I was just—" Victoria stopped herself. "It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is Lily. Don't you want her safe?" Marcus closed his eyes. Every instinct screamed not to trust Victoria, but she was right about one thing. As long as the Kozlovs lived, Lily would never be safe. "What do you need me to do?" he asked finally. Detective Martinez shook her head violently, mouthing "No!" But Marcus kept his eyes on the phone, waiting for Victoria's answer. "Bring the flash drive to the warehouse at midnight. The Kozlovs will have their men there, probably 6 or 7. You'll walk in alone, pretend to negotiate. Keep them talking. And then I'll handle the rest. My people will take care of the Kozlovs. You'll grab Lily and run. By the time the smoke clears, Victoria Sterling will be dead again, and Marcus Sterling will be a grieving father who fought criminals to save his foster daughter." "Foster daughter?" Marcus repeated. That's the story. You met Lily at the cemetery, discovered she was an orphan, started the adoption process. Tonight's kidnapping was a robbery gone wrong. The criminals are dead, killed by their own associate, me, though no one will ever prove it. You're a hero. Lily gets a home. Everyone wins. Except you're still a fugitive. I'll be a ghost. That's all I've ever been good at. Victoria's voice softened. Marcus, I know you hate me. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I loved Ethan. I loved him so much, and I love Lily too. I want her to have the life I couldn't give her. With you, please. Marcus looked at Detective Martinez, at Rachel, at the police surrounding them. He thought of Ethan's grave, of Lily crying beside it, of that photograph with the childish writing, "Daddy, this is my sister." "Okay," he said, "I'll do it." Victoria exhaled in relief. "Thank you. And Marcus, I really am sorry. About everything." She hung up. Detective Martinez immediately started issuing orders. Tactical teams, full surveillance, snipers on every rooftop. We're not letting either Victoria Sterling or the Kozlovs walk away from this. But Marcus pulled her aside. "You can't go in guns blazing. If the Kozlovs suspect a setup, they'll kill Lily first. So what do you suggest?" Marcus looked at the flash drive in his hand. "I suggest we give them exactly what they want, but not the way anyone expects." He turned to Rachel. "How much of your sister's evidence was on this drive?" "All of it." "Why?" "Because I'm going to make a copy. The Kozlovs can have the original. Victoria can think she's destroyed the evidence, but we'll keep the backup." Marcus's jaw set with determination. "And when this is all over, when Lily's safe, we're going to use it to put everyone involved behind bars, including Victoria." Rachel smiled grimly. "Now you're thinking like Sarah." As police prepared for the operation, Marcus stepped outside into the cold night air. Somewhere out there, Victoria was preparing for war. The Kozlovs were sharpening their knives, and Lily, his daughter, was caught in the middle. But Marcus had something none of them expected. He had the truth. He had evidence. And he had absolutely nothing left to lose. Tomorrow night at midnight, one way or another, this ended. For Ethan. For Sarah. For Lily. For family. Midnight arrived like a death sentence. Marcus stood outside the abandoned warehouse, the flash drive in his pocket, a wire taped to his chest. Hidden in darkness, 24 police waited for his signal. He pushed open the metal door. The warehouse was massive and empty, lit only by moonlight. In the center, under a pool of light, Lily sat in a chair. She wasn't tied, but fear radiated from her small frame. "Lily!" Marcus started forward. "Stop!" A tall man in an expensive suit emerged from shadows, flanked by 4 armed guards. "Mr. Sterling, show me the drive first." Marcus pulled it out and held it up. A guard snatched it, examined it. "This better be authentic," the boss said. "It is. Now let her go." A door burst open. Victoria strode in, gun drawn, 3 men behind her. "Nobody move." The Kozlov boss smiled. "Victoria Sterling, back from the dead." "Let my daughter go," Victoria demanded. "Your daughter, how touching. Tell me, did you mourn your son as much? Or was Ethan just collateral damage? Derek killed Ethan. I had nothing to do with it. But you helped him. The access, the systems, the accounts. You made Derek believe he was untouchable." "I'm ending this," Victoria said, hands shaking. "No," Marcus said quietly. Everyone turned. "No more killing. It ends with the truth." He tapped the wire on his chest. "Every word recorded. Police have this place surrounded. And Victoria, I kept a backup of that flash drive. Every piece of evidence, including recordings of you helping Derek, including your knowledge of his plans." Victoria went white. "Marcus, you don't understand. I understand you chose money over your children, both of them." Marcus's voice broke. "But you're still the only mother Lily has, and she deserves the truth." He walked forward and knelt beside Lily, gathering her into his arms. She clutched him desperately, crying, "It's okay, sweetheart, you're safe now." "I promise. I want to go home with you," Lily sobbed. "Then that's exactly what we'll do." Police flooded the warehouse. The Kozlov guards dropped their weapons. Victoria turned to run, but Detective Martinez was already there. "Victoria Sterling, you're under arrest." Victoria didn't resist. She looked at Lily in Marcus's arms, and her face crumpled. "I'm sorry, Lily. I'm so sorry." "You wanted to save yourself," Marcus said quietly. "But maybe you did give her something better, a chance at a real family." As police led Victoria away, she looked back. "Take care of her, Marcus. Love her the way I couldn't." "I will," Marcus promised. "I already do." 3 months later, Marcus stood in the cemetery, but this time he wasn't alone. Lily held his hand, wearing a warm pink coat and new shoes. Her blonde hair shone. She looked healthy, happy. Together, they placed flowers on Ethan's grave. "Do you think he knows?" Lily asked softly. "That we're together now? That we're a